Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 58. I'm Ian Scott.
And I don't pee in bottles at set.
Yeah, that's a very specific reference, but hopefully you guys have been in the news for that one.
Anyways, so yeah, we're talking about some superhero stuff today, as usual. Who likes Superman? We do, and there's a new image of James Gunn's Superman that we're going to talk about. We also got some more news about the DCU with Rick Flag Sr. showing up in another TV show project. First look at Batman Cape Crusader, the voice of Galactus and some other cast members revealed for the new Fantastic Four, a Hypothetical, the new Lord of the Rings movie coming out, and the Office spinoff that just got announced, at least the synopsis of it.
Yep.
Firstly, we're going to talk about The Boys Season 4 trailer. I think it came out not too long after we recorded last time, so it's been a minute since I saw it. I just rewatched it right beforehand. Yeah. And
got a lot of notes on this one.
Ian's got a lot of notes. I got to say, I don't think you can top the craziness that was the trailer for season 3.
I don't even remember, to be honest. I probably avoided it because I hadn't seen season 2 at that point, I don't think.
And I don't need them to try to top season 3 because that was a crazy fucking epic season. That was a goated season, honestly.
It was a great season, yeah.
But
probably their best.
This could potentially rival it, or just be as good, or close to it, because we got chickens bursting out of people's
animals.
We got super animals. We got goats flying in the sky.
I thought that was a sheep. But maybe it is.
No, it's a sheep. Yeah. We got sheep flying in the sky,
just
killing people.
Farm animal soups.
Chickens being impenetrable to bullets and bursting out of guys' chests.
I just didn't think that was going to be a possibility, for them to get the virus or the whatever it is, the serum. Yeah.
Well, who knows how they got it? We have no, we got Homelander ice skating. We got an actor who's playing Homelander, or it's Homelander. I don't know. I didn't zoom in to check and see if that was actually Homelander.
It didn't look like Homelander. It didn't look like the actor who plays him.
I would love if that was Homelander, though. Wouldn't you love that?
That'd be wild. Anthony Starr, that's his name. Right.
And if you didn't watch the Gen V, which I'm sorry, the guys at the comic book store who were like, I don't want to watch Gen V because they've got all these new characters and it's not The Boys. Well. Now you kind of have to, I don't know if you have to watch it, but it would probably better your experience because now you got fucking what's their names again?
The two that were in here?
The two that went bad in Gen V.
Yeah, Kate and Sam.
Yeah. So they're obviously a part of VOT now, or at least having some sort of talks.
For sure.
We got who was it? Firecracker, I think, is one of the new names.
And my prediction for her, I think, was totally on point. She seems to be a racist superhero. Yeah, just like what was her name? Homelander's ex-girlfriend that he killed, right?
Oh yeah. I don't want to
Stormwatch.
It wasn't Stormwatch. No. I'll look it up.
Yeah. But yeah, a similar version, but more red, white, and blue themed and patriotic. And she has a line in here that really alludes to everything that's like
Stormfront.
Yeah, but she declares it's hunting season on starfighters, and you're just like
the starlighters. Yeah.
Yeah. So like hunting. I don't know. You can pick up that subtle cue. But yeah, you got a lot of not a lot, but you got some dope fights being shown, like specifically in the boys' hideout. One between Billy and Black Noir. The other between
who is that now?
I mean, my prediction has been Sam is Black Noir now.
It might be
because Kate at the end made him emotionless, right? So that just, I don't know. To me, that makes sense. But yeah, and then you have a fight between the Deep and Starlight, and Yeah,
I don't think that's going to go well for the deep.
Probably not. But the big like news of this trailer is that Billy's found a virus
From Gen V.
Right, that kills Soups, and I don't believe Starlight's going to be very receptive to that plan because she's obviously a Soup, and she knows that all Soups aren't bad. She does realize that. So I'm curious to see the drama that'll come from that. But yeah, this trailer's got a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, and Ryan's looking like a douchebag, which I guess is what kind of happens when your dad is a psychopath and a douchebag. Right.
It's confirmed that he's the one who pushed that guy in the last trailer that died. So Ryan's killing civilians now, so that's cool.
That's
really, really bad. Yeah,
and it's election season,
right? So yeah, you got a lot of themes kind of pointing to like big political moments in like United States history. Like you had like the start of the trailer where it was like the Homelander side on one side, the Starlighters on the other, and they're like blocked by barricades, and they'll jump across the barricade to fight each other. That felt very like civil rights movement in a sense. And then you had how Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character it's like soon the Soups are gonna like start rounding us into camps, which felt very like the World War II kind of camps that the United States did.
I don't think it was by chance that this is coming out with our own election season. I think it's pretty wild that it's coming out during our own election season. I feel like it wasn't planned out, but it's very interesting to see something like this amongst because it felt like it was all building to this anyways. Right. But yeah, I mean the idea of a virus that kills Soups and Starlight is kind of on the boys' side. She's kind of not fucking with them anymore, if I remember last, especially everything with Huey.
Well, I mean, but she's there at the start. It seems like at the start of the season, she'll be like with the boys' group, So
maybe I don't know if that's the way they cut the trailer, because sometimes we see stuff and it's like definitely I just had that context.
Feeling, I guess. So yeah, I mean, and then you have Homelander's like this is the most iconic line from the whole trailer, which was that Homelander saying to the Soups, "You'll no longer be beloved celebrities, you'll be wrathful gods," and I'm just like, this is the turn that I feel like the boys really needed to take, where like the Soups had been subtly being pieces of shit, but now they're going to be like full out in the open. I don't care what the public thinks about me. We have all the power. We can do what we want.
Right.
And that's a super exciting turn for the show to take. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to live in that world. Nope. That's a terrifying world, because one of the things about the first season of The Boys was when you learned as Huey how terrifying it was to even have captured a member of the Seven,
right?
Because Homelander could fucking kill you in an instant, you know.
If he found you, you're dead.
And now this is the whole world, and it's also like with all the politics, you have people supporting it and not supporting it, and not to mention the drama with Billy and his son, and Billy dying because he did the soup serum too many times.
Yeah, you get that at the very start of the trailer, that he doesn't have much time left to fix his wrongs, So.
What did he say? I think he said like he had like 6 months in the last season. I think it was like 6 months.
Kind of what it was, right? Yeah. I mean, who knows how much time has passed, right? I mean, we don't know how long Billy was on the run and like looking for the forest and or the woods, I should say.
I'm gonna say that this probably picks up like not that much later than season 3. Like Gen V seemed to have happened like mere weeks, if anything. Since
I'm gonna say it's been like a month. That's gonna be my
maybe like a month.
right, at the most, right? Because I do think there needs to be a gap because Billy was off on his own, but it doesn't have to be insanely long.
Right.
Yeah, I am curious. Like, I think he'll live past this season. I don't think like they'll make a huge turn like that and kill off like the main character pretty much. But I have no idea how they can save him unless it's something else, like another serum they make up and he gets it, you know?
I mean, the thing is that there's no world where Billy Butcher has a happy life.
No.
Like that's just not going to happen.
Well, he's also kind of done that to himself, but yeah, in a sense, yes, I agree. He's not going to be in a happy home and you know, live to his old age and right. No.
Right. Ryan will be raised by somebody else that is not Billy Butcher.
Yeah, Ryan's not going to go back to Billy. Yeah.
I think have a resolve with him, but
right. I think he'll like leave Homelander at some point, but I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't. But you know, if he's already killing people, then like maybe like they're showing the audience, oh, he's too far gone. You know, like Homelander's already turned him, and he likes it. You know.
We'll see.
Maybe Ryan's lost.
The other big news that goes in part with this though is we didn't really talk about it much because we both felt that we weren't going to really add too much to the conversation. But when Chance Perdomo died from a motorcycle accident couple months ago, and he played what was the name of, do you remember his character from Gen V?
I just watched the first episode too. That's really bad. I can't tell you.
So Chance, who is playing the guy that
he has metal powers, right?
Metal powers.
Right.
He passed away, and the producers of Gen V said that they will not be recasting him for season 2,
right?
Which in part kind of plays into, I guess, the rest of the boys and what's going on with that. And that they basically said that they were going to rewrite how they're going to be telling, tell that story. Which
I don't know if we had this on the podcast last week, this conversation, but we had talked about like a recasting situation very similar to this last week, I think.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, for me, and I don't know how much their stories like would have played into, and I guess spoiler, warning for anyone who hasn't seen Gen V, but I don't know how like the group who was trapped at the end of season 1 of Gen V, I don't know how much they're going to play into this season. Like maybe they'll be mentioned or like shown once on a screen or something. And I do think they're probably inside of the boys' tower. Like that's probably the case.
Yeah.
Like the vault, sorry, the Vought Tech or not Vault Tech, Vought. That tower, but I think his character's arc was going to be the like majorly important though for season 2 of Gen V, and it feels, I don't know, it does feel like, I know they're trying to be respectful to Chance Perdomo, but like it just doesn't feel respectful to the character and like the work he put in for that character, you know, like, and it's I don't know, it just doesn't feel necessary. Like I feel like we could have had a recasting and everyone would have understood, you know, like there's a clear story you guys have built here that needs to keep moving.
Right.
And now you're changing things because of an outside. I know it's obviously it's a very tragic incident, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it was necessary to recast or not recast.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we were having a similar conversation because at least off not maybe on the pod, but after it. But you know, like it was one thing, even though I disagree, it was one thing for Chadwick Boseman because it was such like iconic for so many people and it meant so much to so many people. And not that, and by the way, he plays Andre, which was the name.
Andre, okay.
But not that he was a great character. He's one of my favorite characters.
For sure, yeah.
From that first season of Gen V. But
I wouldn't call any of their performances iconic.
I wouldn't say that any of them are iconic. I can completely understand how some of them probably feel of like, we can't replace Chance.
Right.
Like how difficult would it potentially be to
act
show
with a new actor, right? Yeah.
And that's not my call to make. I agree with you that I think if you want to serve the story, it would probably benefit to recast
For sure.
and continue on that character. But they've made that decision, and I'm sure that they can figure out some way, like maybe like they talk about Andre off screen, like after what you did to Andre, and like we can all kind of like allude to maybe something bad happened to him. I don't know.
I just think there now has to be like a crazy big time skip at the start of Gen V season 2 to like, I don't know, because like they either have to be all split up and like put into separate rooms, and then like they had no idea of each other's whereabouts, or it's just like, I don't know. It just feels weird to continue like right off where they left,
I agree.
Right.
But they made that decision. I'm gonna trust that they that they do something good with that decision.
I mean, they wrote a killer first season, so hopefully they can write this well. Yeah.
But anyways, I think the trailer looks great.
A+.
And I
coming out June 13th.
Amazing. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so close.
So close. We have so many shows coming out in June. I'm so excited for June.
What else is coming out in June?
You got The Acolyte. House of the Dragon season 2.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch this, but The Bear season 3 is coming out.
Should probably get caught. I should probably watch that.
Yeah. Have you not watched it either? No. Yeah. Jared recommends it a ton to me.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all we had to say on that. The other, I mean, maybe not the only other exciting news, but another very exciting piece of news this week was the picture that was dropped, the first image released of the new Superman for James Gunn's Superman. It was just a picture of him sitting down and putting on his suit, and the last piece of his suit was a boot, and there's a big eyeball kind of beaming down onto the city behind him. But yeah, let me hear what you think of the suit.
So I was at work and I got like an update, and I saw that they had dropped the picture. And before anything, this was an in-camera shot, and from what I understand, this wasn't even like from what I understand, I don't think this was necessarily even like a part of the movie. I think that might have even just been David Cornsweet like putting on the boot or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. People were getting like, he's taking his good old time and he seems a little something. And I'm not gonna lie.
The picture's funny when you analyze it like that.
When I saw the photo, I would have thought, considering everything that James Gunn had said, the first photo that you see of him, and this will probably be true for like the big main photo that they put out, I would have thought that there'd be a bit more of like a joyous, energy and vibrance, and like the suit is brighter and than Henry Cavill's. But I'm not gonna lie. I did
see complaints though about how bright or about how not bright enough it was. But we'll get to that. Yeah.
I can see that. Right. But what I was gonna say, that photo does seem kind of dark, which I don't mind at all. Regarding the suit, though, I'm not gonna say that I'm like in love with it or that it blew me away and stopped me in my tracks. But I think it's a good suit. And I kind of, when people were, I saw people talk about like, well, kind of like crinkling up on the shoulders. I was like, he's sitting down. It's not, from what I understand, like it's not even like I said, it's not even like a part of the movie. I don't think.
But I do think we'll see kind of like some folds and stuff in the movie. Like I don't think it's going to be some skin tight perfect suit, you know.
Right, sure. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't think it looks bad. Also, what superhero suit necessarily looks good sitting in a chair? You know, like I'm not like thinking, oh, that Iron Man suit looks so, like if the first Iron Man suit was him on top of the LA donut, I don't know if I would have been like, whoa, like it's not like a power pose or any of that, but there's a, you know, you got the high neck
collar
kind of collar,
like shoulder mantle, like cape.
Cape. Sorry,
yeah.
I was blank. I was
wow, on cape.
I wanted to say drape, and I was like, no, it's not a fucking drape. I was thinking Incredibles, like no capes.
Right.
You got the cape it's not like behind, it's over the shoulder.
It's like mid shoulder, right?
Which was an interesting decision. I don't know.
I think it's perfect. That like you need to see some of the shoulder come up, like some of the cape. I mean, come up on the shoulder. I think it wasn't too far over either. It's just like just right.
It looks good. I'm pretty sure, the trunks are in there, but like obviously you can't really make it out very much.
Yeah.
We already know the symbol. I think the symbol looks great. It's bright, not as not as bright as I maybe like a lot of people probably were predicting that it would be. It's not like Christopher Reeves, bright, and it's not like Christopher Reeves like like but spandex. It's got like some like texture to it, and in
sunlight though, I do believe like you'll see a brighter suit. Even though there was some sunlight coming through the window
and color. I mean, it's dark. First of all, it's dark outside. Second of all, color grading.
Plus, the suit's a little dirty because it looks like he's fought in it a bit.
Right, and that was the other thing. Like there's obviously something going on outside, which you know who knows if that's the villain. I
don't think it will be one of the engineer. Of this movie.
Who knows if it's just a random thing like early on in the movie. I don't know, but I do like that it's that he's damaged. He's still going back out there. And even though like looking at it right now, it is dark outside. It's cloudy. It's stormy.
And the suit is still bright enough for me to be honest.
And it's still very bright. And I think like it's funny. My girlfriend said like the boots kind of look foamy. And I was like, like I like the boots, but that's
one of my favorite parts of the outfit.
I can understand that. I kind of like the shoulder. I don't know if you would call it a shoulder pad, but it's kind of a shoulder pad. They got like these like gauntlets style like inlays. Like I do think it looks great. It reminds me of Kingdom Come Superman. It reminds me of Injustice. It reminds me of New 52. And I love all of those suits. So overall, like, and I think honestly, one of the most interesting parts about this one is the raised neck, the collar. Right. It gives like, and also with the over the shoulder cape, and this is something that I like, and that I think I was hoping for with what James Gunn was saying, which was that they were going to like talk about the aristocratic nature of being a Kryptonian. And it looks very regal to me.
Sure.
Like all of that makes it look regal.
Right.
And
I think there's people who are upset with that aspect of Superman though, in a sense where like they would rather this be a suit that his parents made, or his mom made. Right. And like, how we got in the newest Superman show, the animated show.
Which was a great part that made like,
no, that was an amazing moment in that show.
Which like, who's to say that like there isn't that moment with the trunks?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I don't think there's a thing I don't like about it. I love the cape. I love where it's placed. I love the boots. I love that there's trunks.
I just
love the
love
high
James
collar.
Gunn.
I love the emblem.
I love everything James Gunn. No, okay.
I do love everything James Gunn has made so far. I think the only thing that's like was surprising was how how many lines and inlays there were.
There's a lot of
not,
inlays,
but it's not like it doesn't feel in my mind as much as like Henry Cavill's, like how detailed that suit was. I could be wrong, but I don't know. It gives the suit a little texture, a little something, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
I think the idea of trying to make a superhero movie in 2024,
right,
where it's not like the material is not somewhat detailed and like it's more CW in a sense. Like I think it's a ridiculous idea. And it doesn't look good, you know, like it's boring
for the most part. Yeah, we've never had like, I don't know. It's just, but I feel like that could be because of like the production of CW, you know, like maybe if we got a really good, well-designed, expensive Superman suit that was more simplified, maybe it would look good, but I don't know.
I just can't imagine like looking at this suit or Henry Cavill's and like you bring it back to Christopher Reeves, like this is close to the skin, you know, like we're getting we're losing all of the I don't know what you want to call them, like spheres and inlays, like get rid of all of that. I just don't think you would buy it.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah. It's very possible. Yeah. I don't disagree.
But I do think the suit looks great. And people saying that like it's worse than like a CW suit.
That's crazy to me.
I've seen it. Like people were like hating on it. I don't know if
it feels like we're in the minority, to be honest.
It might, maybe, but like I felt like I was in the minority when I liked the Batman Robert Pattinson suit, and I had people be like, "What is that? Like he's wearing like a leather mask. Like what's he gonna do?" And I remember people like bitching about that suit, and I remember people bitching about the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and I was like, and now
both great designs. Yeah.
Everybody loves those designs and couldn't probably think of a world without those designs. So I say we just have to wait till the movie and people will rethink it. And I'm not like, let me look up Superman and Lois and let's see.
That suit's fine. It's not a bad suit. It definitely tries to mimic like Henry Cavill's, it feels like.
Yeah, it's lost the
trunks.
The trunks. It's got it pretty much right exactly on the cape where Henry has it. And like it's a good suit, but it is like has that mirroring like kind of cum bucket or
oh my God.
V line, you know, like where he's got the belt. Crap. And like, no, it's a good suit, but in a way, like that suit almost looks cheap because like I can almost tell that those abs are just a part of the suit.
Right.
You know, whereas this one, if I can get back to it.
I don't know if you can really tell if there's abs or not, but
sure. But like I was told there's no padding in this suit.
That's very surprising.
And I don't know. It's not giving me it's not giving me the idea of like, let me, like, I need to know that this Superman is buff. I just like know that he has power.
Right.
I don't need to see like the muscles. It would be great, but like, I don't know. I like it.
I do too. And I think it means that David Cornsweat's gotten pretty jacked for this role.
He has gotten jacked. I have seen photos. He's gotten jacked. I do think that a large amount of the people, I don't know this for sure, but I do like, it's hard to know who doesn't like it because they don't like change. Right. Who doesn't like it because it's not Henry Cavill.
Or Zack Snyder. Right.
Yeah. Who doesn't like it because it's James Gunn. And then who just generally is like, it doesn't do anything for me, you know?
Right.
And again,
a lot of biases out there.
This, I don't think, is a good photo to judge a lot of the suit, like, because it's sitting in a chair and it's not doing any of the traditional stances that a Superman would do. So
Someone did have a really great argument though for why like Jimmy James Gunn picked that pose, and it was basically like there was an artist who I guess was like very much like always drawing Superman in the comics, and he like had seen somebody in a convention like basically kind of be posing as Superman, but in a very like nonchalant way. And it like inspired him a ton because he's like, that's how Superman would be. You know, he's like, he's not worried about the same things you and I are. He's not worried about like, you know, being late somewhere. He would be more like maybe relaxed and free in his suit. And so he like started drawing him in these like non-superheroic poses, and so maybe that's where James Gunn got some inspiration from. I don't know, but it is an interesting choice.
But that I mean, I am curious why, because to me, Superman would be worried about all the same things that we would be worried about, because that's what makes him Superman, because he's like still one of us, you know, and like he's just
sure,
you know,
in a sense, right? Yeah, I feel you. Well, we do have some more DC news we should be talking about, probably.
Yeah.
First being, this was very recent news that Frank Grillo, who is going to be voicing Rick Flag Sr. in the Creature Commandos animated show, is going to now be playing the live action Rick Flag Sr. in Peacemaker season 2.
Right.
Yeah, insane. I mean, we already knew at the start of this universe that actors are going to be transitioning from animated to live action, and voicing and playing them both. But I'm very excited and intrigued for the storyline, because you said there was like a line you said to me earlier where like he and Rick Flag Sr. have unfinished business, and you know, we don't know how that's gonna go, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's super exciting. I mean, that could be the main antagonist of season 2 if you wanted it to be.
It could be.
Or maybe he joins the group and is ally for Peacemaker. So a lot of cool directions, and I think I just think there's so many possibilities, because like we already know that Peacemaker isn't even technically in the old universe anymore. So like maybe he realizes that he's in a new universe and he's like, I didn't actually kill your son, you know, like I killed him in another universe. And I don't know, like I have no idea how they can play this or how they'll go, like what direction they'll go, but there's so many options.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, all right. So this, first of all, I guess we should clarify, this is all coming from James Gunn's Instagram, where he took a picture with Frank Grillo and saying Christopher Smith and you know, Rick Flag Sr. have some unfinished business, meaning I killed your son.
Right.
So
he was a different kind of peacemaker.
He was a different kind of peacemaker, the one that would kill any man, woman, and child so he could have peace.
Mm-hmm.
Including what the fuck is his name? Who played Peacemaker? Who played Rick Flag? Joel Kinnaman. Joel Kinnaman.
Mm-hmm.
So
one of the best deaths on screen.
What a fucking joke. So anyways, I think we've both, I think a lot of people have wondered, how are they gonna, and a lot of people are mad, and you know, that's one thing I can understand. If you want to be mad about season 2 of Peacemaker sticking around, I get it. I don't exactly know how they're gonna do that. I don't know if you're gonna be like, yeah, what happened at the end of The Flash is kind of how this is all different. I don't know.
They won't say that, I don't think.
I don't know if like we're the start of our universe is gonna be a little weird, because we're still gonna keep that Peacemaker, but like if we just forget that there was a Justice League and it had, you know,
I just hope there's a clear explanation at the start of Peacemaker season 2 for what the fuck is going on with these characters, like why they're still in this universe, why we're still following them. Like we need a real explanation, and
yeah,
I hope it's a good one, you know.
And I can't imagine that James Gunn, with all of the hate that he's accused, and the thing is that if Peacemaker was not a success, to the scale that it was.
It wouldn't be coming, right?
It wouldn't be coming. So I do think that like this is a good way to like keep excitement, because everybody loved Peacemaker. Right. Nobody didn't love that show. Now
the one person in the comments, I hated
it. Besides the fact that we don't know how this links up into tying into a new universe and whatnot, I think, it's very cool that very, very early on we'll be able to see the actualization of seeing an animated voice actor then portray that character in live action, and maybe could even like go back to being animated again. And
yeah, I mean, truthfully, have we really seen that? I don't think we've actually ever seen that done before, where they share the same universe and are continuing their own story from animated to live action. Like we've had like Peggy Carter, but I can't remember her actual name. But she played her in What If, but it wasn't the same. Right. They canonically were like, oh yeah, it's a different Peggy Carter, and they're like, well, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I'm very excited to see that. It's very cool that like those two projects will probably be like the first and third project of this universe. And we'll get to see that super early on. Yeah. So that's awesome. I'm hyped.
And I think it, like what you were saying earlier, like either potential main protagonist, though I highly doubt it, or he's like a secondary
antagonist.
Sorry, I meant antagonist.
Oh, or for the first one. Okay.
For the first one, main antagonist. Second, like, issue, because like you could say that Peacemaker's dad was like the secondary antagonist and
he was one of the best parts of that season. So,
or he like joins the team and they're like button heads all the time.
Right. Which is a cool dynamic. I like that.
But I think, I mean, that already gives Peacemaker season 2 a lot of drama to look forward to, even though we don't know what Rick Flag Sr. is like. The tension of just knowing that one of the main guy killed his son.
Right.
It's kind of exciting to see what
I think so too.
What consequences come from that. Yeah.
It'll be a great second season, I think.
And who knows, maybe we'll see some of the Creature Commandos also in live action.
That'd be cool.
Like a Team Peacemaker meets a Creature Commandos team up episode for
it'd almost be like a little mini Suicide Squad versus Creature Commandos in a sense.
Except it'd just be Peacemaker and Vigilante who could really do very much. I mean, you could some of like Hargrove could do some stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, I feel you. But yeah, that we do not have a release date for, so we'll just have to see when that comes out. I'm assuming end of 2025. That's going to be my guess.
Yeah, I think that
could be early 2026, but we will see.
Yeah.
Well, next up, another piece of DC news on the animated side. We got our first look at Batman: The Caped Crusader. This is a Batman animated show that will be set in the 40s, like the original Batman. And we got our first looks at 3 characters, it looks like. So we got our first look for Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Clayface. And yeah, they all look very exciting. Some very cool details came out about them. Basically, they're going to be kind of like personality swapping Harley Quinn, where in the original, she's a very like kind of serious, I guess, doctor at a mental hospital at Arkham Asylum, but she is a very like silly, joking Harley Quinn as a villain. And in this show, they're going to flip it to where she's a very like serious, scary Harley Quinn, and they kind of like changed her colors up a little bit. So the first look of her is a very intimidating like stare into the camera.
Yeah, I mean, I would be terrified if this green and yellow clown of sort jester just walked into my apartment with glaring eyes at me.
Right. But yeah, so this is I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is created or co-created by Bruce Timm. Or actually, I think it's created, but he co-created Batman the Animated Series. He developed this with J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. So pretty dope team, I would say. Yeah, I know. You gotta ignore JJ now.
J.J. Abrams.
But yeah, so it's cool that he also created like the original Harley Quinn. So he's kind of getting to like recreate her in a sense.
Right.
But yeah, and then we also got our first look at Catwoman. And they were
a cape.
With a cape and a purple suit.
Why does a cat need a cape?
They were really trying to make her like Batman, I guess. But yeah, it's they definitely wanted to go back to her 40s style suit, and you can definitely tell. What else? And we also got our first look at Clayface, who they described as a
Scooby-Doo villain.
They described as a master of disguise for sure. And that he'd be more grounded and handled like the chameleon for Spider-Man. So I think though, like the villains of this 1940s Batman series are going to be creepy, terrifying villains. I know most people aren't a fan of like a more grounded Clayface, but I think grounded Batman is cool, so I'm all for it.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you feeling about this?
Is it only gonna be Catwoman, Harley Quinn, and Clayface?
Like as the side characters?
As like the main, like as the rogues gallery.
I don't know. I mean, these are the images that I've seen. I don't think they released any others for any other characters. So maybe they're hiding some other characters from us. But I don't think there's necessarily like a synopsis out there. Well, there is, but it's not like detailing villains and whatnot.
Okay. Because I think it's these are only a few of the characters that we're gonna see. They want to drop them all at once. And I do think like it's kind of cool to see Batman with the big ears and go back to like how he looked when he first he straight up looks like his first appearance almost of Detective Comics #1 or right. I forget which Detective comic. It wasn't #1.
It wasn't #1. Yeah.
Maybe 11. I forgot. But
yeah, they also describe Batman in this as not adjusted to being a human being and is literally Batman inside. So that's, I mean, we've gotten that version before. So it sounds like maybe we'll get a story similar to like Pattinson's Batman, because maybe he wasn't that drastic to a sense, but he did exude that he was like, he didn't give a shit about being Bruce Wayne, Right. So I think that storyline's always cool for Batman.
And I do think these character designs are cool. I think, going back to like the animated series, you never really knew what time period that took place in, but you knew it wasn't like much further than maybe the 60s, if anything.
Right.
And I think like 1940s is the perfect time period to kind of show like it was all Art Deco. Like if you look at the building that like Catwoman is about to jump out of, like it's very Art Deco. Bruce Wayne at this museum, like it's giving all the same vibes as like how the Superman animated series was, how the Batman animated series was, and the same thing with like Harley Quinn and her in her office, like looking outside. And that is very much what I think a lot of people associate with like the 1940s, 1950s kind of architecture, I guess you want to say, or art style that people are into. And so putting it in the 40s, I think is cool and interesting. And we haven't seen it in a minute.
Like maybe Bruce Timm didn't get to like make the show he like truly wanted to. Like maybe he was kind of like being vague about the time period because he couldn't like really say it. But now I think he's getting to make a lot of creative decisions and maybe the studio input is not as drastic.
I just want to know how much how close to the time period it's going to be. Like, are we going to be like a Catwoman? You know, is there going to be a bunch of like right. Toxic masculinity going on? Like, this is man talk, right? Get out of here.
I mean, you know, Mad Men did it, right? So,
yeah,
I mean, maybe not too much.
Is it?
But
is
I
it
can
gonna
see
be
some.
like? I don't know. Are they gonna have voices like, "Hey, Batman, I heard there was a Clayface guy."
I mean, I wouldn't be upset at that if that was the case.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
The transatlantic accent, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks cool. I want to see a trailer. You know.
Yeah, me too. And it's coming out pretty soon, August 1st on Amazon Prime. There hasn't been a voice cast announced yet, so we have no idea who's playing any of these characters. But yeah, it's
John Malkovich is playing Batman. I'm Batman.
Yeah, that would be something. I don't think that would really match the drawing, but you know.
Kristen Wiig is Catwoman.
No. No. She was a Catwoman though at one point.
Was she?
Cheetah? No, sorry. You know,
kill yourself.
Had to do that one. Sorry. But yeah, I think that's our thoughts on all things DC related. On to Marvel now. At this point, we got some pretty cool Fantastic Four castings. So we got that John Malkovich was cast in a unknown mystery role in Fantastic Four. And that, who's the other guy? Ralph Ineson is cast as Galactus, the main villain of this movie. So
that we know of.
So, yeah, I mean, from all the reports, it seems like he's the main villain.
It would seem safe to say that it's Galactus,
right?
And not also to mention that Paul Walter Hauser got an unknown role announced, which
I think we're thinking it's Herbie, but maybe it's not.
I don't know who Herbie is. I don't know the car. He's gonna be
robot.
a car.
He's gonna be the robot.
Oh,
yeah.
So a machine. It's gonna be a machine. I saw. Now this might be like just ridiculous, but I did like somebody was like, Paul Walter Hauser liked a comment that was like, please be Mole Man. And so it's like Paul Walter Hauser is now Mole Man, which
okay.
If there was a Mole Man, which is a crazy weird character to put in a movie, considering that this does seem like it's an alternate universe where like they're all dressed kind of like in this very 1960s kind of like fun, you know, science-y kind of weird science world. I could see a Mole Man, you know. I don't know if that's like somebody that Paul Walter Hauser would get like announced for so early on that we want to put his name. I don't know. But with regards to Ralph Ineson, this is God tier casting, by the way.
Incredible voice this man has.
You know, there's James Earl Jones. You got Jeremy Irons. Who else has got a great voice? The guy that plays Gordon in the Batman.
I would also
Jeffrey
say
Wright.
J.K. Simmons got a great voice.
J.K. Simmons has got a great voice. This man has haunted my dreams with his voice.
What have you seen him in?
He's been in quite a few things, a lot of A24 movies recently. But he was the dad in The Witch, which
okay. I haven't seen it.
Which well, it's great, and he is quite a presence. He's the actual Green Knight in The Green Knight.
Oh, okay.
He was in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, though I don't know what for. We know he was a Ravager in Guardians of the Galaxy. So that'd be kind of interesting.
Another actor playing two roles in the universe.
And I might have seen him in a couple other things. I think he was in the creator for some of it. But his voice, if like I was like, who could play Galactus? This voice is I can't imagine how threatening, but also calm and like just deep this Galactus voice is going to be, because he's got a great voice, and
he doesn't even have to like exert to be like a dope ass voice,
right?
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be like a little bit of like effect or like modulation going on to make it seem a bit more like celestial.
Sure.
But and maybe not, who knows, but
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I love this casting. I love that John Malkovich is, I mean, honestly, this whole casting for this movie is crazy good. Like
I wonder who John Malkovich is playing, because it just
maybe
feels
he's
like
Mole Man.
I mean,
Man.
it just feels like everyone important has been grabbed up, you know? So
maybe he's Doctor Doom.
That would be something.
No, he's not.
I mean, I know, yeah, he's not like the right race or anything, or but that would be
the right race.
Everyone wants a Romani guy, like to play Doctor Doom. But
yeah, I guess I wouldn't say that's a race though.
Roman,
like to be Romanian, I get it. I don't know. Like you're still like Caucasian, right?
Sure, but that's a
sort of.
I mean, Romanian's I guess it's a nationality.
Yeah, a nationality. That's a better way to put it. Okay.
Yeah, he's not the right nationality.
Yeah.
So,
but anyways, I didn't think we were gonna get Galactus this early on, to be frank, but I'm really happy about it, because I can't wait to see what an MCU Galactus is gonna look. The only thing is, yes, you've had Arishem, and you've had Celestial show up, but they all looked alien, like they all looked ancient, and they didn't have a mouth. And I'm very curious how they're gonna do a Galactus, because it's very easy to be like, that's goofy, because he's just this huge man with a T on his head.
Yeah, I guess it's different. But did you think like Ego the Living Planet was goofy?
But you never saw Ego as like a talking planet necessarily.
Sure, I think it was pretty much like at the very end you saw like the face on the planet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and that's just like fair. A face of like a planetary body, as opposed to like a humanoid just floating in the sky.
Right. I don't know. I think
is he gonna grab the planet and eat it? Is he gonna like chomp down on it?
I think it's possible. I think if you have a director who really knows how to like make you feel the perspective, I think like it will immediately become a scary, intimidating feel rather than a goofy feel,
And with his voice, I think they're gonna give him more than this. But if you just wanted him to say, I hunger, I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to be more intelligent than that, I think. But yeah,
well, it's not that he only says that, but like, imagine his voice just saying that. I'd be like, say no more.
I'll just kill myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is great casting. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think some people had been like throwing around that I think his name is the Toy Maker, which is like an old Fantastic Four villain that hasn't been seen in a while, and he makes I don't know if it's robots or what exactly it is, but like that could maybe be John Malkovich's character.
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a second antagonist in this movie.
I think we will. I don't think you can just have Galactus.
Well, I mean, Silver Surfer technically is another antagonist.
Yeah.
Until he kind of like turns. But
yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. Very dope news. I say we go to our hypothetical now.
Yes.
Which is in line with the MCU talk we're talking about here. I broached this one, and I said, if you could rewrite any previous MCU movie, how would you rewrite it? Or what would you rewrite?
All right. So this one was very simple for me because it's my least favorite MCU movie. So literally anything could be better. Like I really don't have, I don't think, many MCU movies, if at all, that I would change, minus maybe Thor: The Dark World and
like 3 of the 4 fours, maybe.
3 of the 4 Thors.
Yeah. I could scrap 3 of those. Yeah.
I wouldn't change the first one personally. Because the story's there. But anyways, I would rewrite Ant-Man 3, Quantumania.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily take the quantum realm out of Quantumania. I would take Kang out because there really was, unless they tie it into Secret Wars or whatever the fuck they want to do later on, there really was no fucking point in having Kang down in the quantum realm. It didn't add anything to our understanding of the quantum realm. He just kind of was hanging out in there, and he was marooned there, and he was going to get the fuck out. And that was kind of it. Because his
and
way
then he died.
And then he died. So basically you took Ant-Man into being trying to make Ant-Man put into a bigger story than Ant-Man's been in before. And what I would have really liked, if first of all, bring Luis back.
Yes.
And
Best character.
I want there to be like a tug and pull with Scott and Cassie. Like I want them to try to like reconcile the 5 years that he's been gone. I
also would have kept the first actress they cast as older Cassie.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would have kept her too.
Yep.
And I don't know exactly. You want to throw in, like, if you want to keep MODOK, I'm cool with, I'm cool with Yellow Jacket still being MODOK, just as long as he's not fucking goofy. I don't fucking care.
Sure.
But I have no problem them going into the quantum realm. There's another sort of heist of some sort that's going on, because that's what Ant-Man movies do best. Is there's some sort of heist movie. If you want to bring back like the story that was happening with Ghost and what was his name?
Lawrence Fishburne's character. Not Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne's character. If you want to bring in back them, like that'd be cool. Literally anything but Kang. Going in and out of like some sort of height. Like there's a action sort of like, there's one story going up top with like Wasp and Ghost and whoever the fuck, and then there's a story in the quantum realm tying it all in.
I would still send Hank's wife down with like Scott.
Yeah,
I think she's super important for the quantum realm.
Yeah, give her like something.
Yeah, really build her out.
What I don't want is a rebellion story, a stupid Star Wars rebellion story.
Terrible design.
With terrible design. Like, I don't have an issue with the quantum realm. I just have an issue with how it was done in Quantumania.
Yes,
because that was the logical place to go after we saw it in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So anyways,
they just made it so lame. That's the problem.
That's what I would want. I would want one story happening up top that ties directly into what's going on in the quantum realm. Yeah. And it's like, we're coming down to the seconds, and there's weird time stuff going on, and we're jumping in and out, like something going on with that. I'd be like, there's one villain up here, there's one villain down there. Boom.
Yeah, already better. Already miles better than what we got. I like your idea. I didn't pick this one because I figured you were gonna rewrite it.
Yeah.
So I picked Multiverse of Madness to rewrite.
No,
I did.
That movie is
Yeah.
actually it's a fun movie.
The problem for me, and I think this is kind of a rare exception in Marvel movies, like for this like Multiverse of Madness, is that like they like for me at least the concept of this movie is like at the core of it, it's flawed. Like and that's to me why I chose it. Like I can't say like from the immediate start other movies are like super flawed. And why I say that is because like, you know, one, Wanda could have traveled to any universe and found one universe with a husband and kids. I mean, and so at that point you're like, okay, well that's the story, you know, like,
right.
And they left Vision out of that story that was already told, which really pisses me off. So in my mind, I would have it to where, you know, the first movie sets up Mordo as the main villain, where he's basically this purist who only wants, you know, magic to be used for the right reasons, but he's turned that battle into like him being a villain, you know? And I don't know, like I was reading up on Mordo in the comics, and I think you could have done some really cool like set piece fights, and because like it seems like maybe he's like able to time travel, and so like in the comics they fought at Stonehenge and in like 18th century Paris and at like the dawn of time, and you're like, whoa, this would have been like a pretty cool magic fight. I think you could have even done, because like they rewrote Mordo in the movies quite differently from the comics, because like in the comics he's totally fine using like dark magic and like things that Doctor Strange wouldn't want to use, whereas like this new one is against anybody using magic for the wrong reasons, and so he wouldn't use dark magic. But you know, in the comics he's also been corrupted by Mephisto, so I think you could have had a cool like Doctor Strange was forced to go capture Mordo, and in Mordo's desperation Mephisto comes to him and he has to like sell his soul to like gain power, and so he starts using dark magic. I don't know, I just think there was so much potential with the Mordo character, and then in the second movie they were like, oh yeah, we've been fighting for years, he's been wanting to kill me a long time, and it's just like that's all we get.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, one of the really exciting things was at the end of the first Doctor Strange, which was in 2016.
That's crazy. What?
And then Multiverse of Madness came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was that he was like, you know, on this mission to fight other magic users who weren't, in his eyes, using them properly.
Right.
And
Doctor Strange was one of them, so he would have gone to Doctor Strange.
Right. So and look, your logic with the multiverse-ness of it all, where it's like, well, why didn't you just go, if the multiverse is infinite, why isn't there a universe where, you know, Wanda dies and nobody knows that Wanda died because it happened when she was away from her kids and Vision, and then she's like, hey, I'm here now.
Right, yeah.
It still would have caused an incursion, so you could have still had that fucking, you know, I know they wanted to set that up, which maybe, in all honesty, maybe the reason that Multiverse of Madness was the way that it was they compromised the story that they already were wanting to tell, but they have this larger universe and they had to tell it. So they had to get us prepared for these ideas. So they were like, well, we'll just do that.
That's very possible. Yeah.
But
I also think like I don't know, like it's not like the worst route that they wrote Wanda, but I do believe like if that's truly her end, and it doesn't seem like it is, but if that is her real end, it feels like the story, like her story was a bit wasted. Like I do feel like like she just went into this pure evilness where, and maybe we could have had like you know, this story include Wanda, but it's just a battle of like morality and concepts where like Doctor Strange is like, you can't be universe hopping and doing this, and she's like, but I'm happy with my family,
right?
And then they fight, you know, because they're forced to, right? Like,
right.
I don't know. It just felt like she was corrupted for the sake of the movie.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I agree with you. And like, I think it was cool. She's fucking scary in that movie. Sure. Still, would you still want Sam Raimi or would you want another director?
I think he was tapped for like the horror stuff. So I probably would get another director. Even though I think he did good in that movie directing, like I don't have any complaints about it. Like one of my favorite parts of the movie feels like a Sam Raimi movie to me, which is the opening scene. So
and when Wanda like starts to like sleepwalk,
right, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's me. That's what I chose to rewrite.
No, I mean it's. I can't argue with that.
I won you over a little bit.
But here's the thing. I still like that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
at the best, it's okay to me.
Issues aside, I have fun with that movie.
I think I do think all the Illuminati stuff is fun.
Yeah.
Even though people are pissed about that.
Yeah. Well, whatever. People, man, I don't know. Like, if you don't understand it, like I understand if you were let down about it all. I think the Illuminati have the potential to come back, and the fact of the matter is, like, I think it was neat. I think it was a fun little thing that they put together that was kind of cool to see for a bit, and it served its purpose. It didn't have to be this huge. You bring in the Illuminati for that, and it's like, chill out, guys. Like, we'll either get there. Or it was just fun, and it was like nice to see for a second, because it's not like we've seen Age of Ultron the way that it is in the comic books, and it worked out fine.
Right.
So
yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, I think that's it for the hypothetical segment this week. Now our next topic, I should say, is the synopsis was released for. Oh, actually, I lied. I will say our next.
Can't listen to this man.
You can't listen to me. I'm a bad narrator.
Bad person.
I'm a untrustworthy narrator is what you'd say. But so we are actually going to talk about the Lord of the Rings movie that was announced. Crazy surprise. I didn't expect it, and more news that came with it I didn't expect either. But so the new movie is titled The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. It is directed by Andy Serkis, will star Andy Serkis, and has Peter Jackson returning to produce and will be there every step of the way, is what I guess Zaslav said. And that's the details we got. It's releasing in 2026.
Also, the screenwriters of the original 3 movies are writing this one.
Okay. Dope. So seems like a dream team, even though I haven't really been like incredibly impressed with Andy Serkis directing. But maybe, I think he's not the wrong person to tap for this, considering he knows how to get the most out of a like motion capture performance. He's like the pioneer of them. And he's the star of it doing Gollum. Like, I think it makes sense, and he knows how to direct. I just don't know if he's like an incredible director yet.
Well, I know the only movie that I've seen is Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
Yes.
But the directing wasn't my issue. It was the script, personally.
Sure, but there's nothing in that movie shot wise that like really is. I'm like, ooh, that was, I don't know.
Sure, but he was the second unit director for the Hobbit movies because Peter Jackson trusted him so much. Now I know that the Hobbit movies are not like our favorite thing. They're certainly not my favorite thing. Some of the first one, I think the first one's pretty good.
Well, sure, and I think the ending of the second one's pretty good too. But,
sure, yeah, but the fact that Peter Jackson like trusted him and like put him on as the second unit like director, like I think
that shows a lot. Yeah.
Now, all of that aside, this is Gollum going to be the main star? He could also just be like
Right.
a part of it, like people are going after him,
Now, this has to be a prequel, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he died.
He died.
But
He definitely died.
Where do you think this will be set?
I think this is set. I think
he still has the ring. Like,
I think this is set before the Hobbit, potentially.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. In my mind, it feels like he should have the ring in this movie. But
yeah,
because they are saying Lord of the Rings, the hunt for Gollum,
Yeah.
It's not just the hunt for Gollum.
I think this would be like how he got into the stuck in that cave to begin with, like in the mountain.
Okay.
So I think this is like how he ended up there.
But was he like already disfigured at that point?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was. Okay.
Well, like in Return of the King, you kind of see him over the years just start deteriorating and having the long lifespan due to like the ring's effects.
Right.
But my thing is, I'm not a prequel guy. We already know. Now, there seems like there's two thoughts I have. One, there must be some great idea that they're like, ooh, we got to tell this story. Like, this is a great story. The other one is David Zaslav was like, I want movies from these IPs. Somebody give me one.
That's the one. Yep.
And I'm not like, look, I love Lord of the Rings. I really, really, really hope that this is an actual good story
and
a
not good addition to the universe.
I don't think Andy Serkis is beholden to like some sort of contract that says like, well, you have to do something for Lord of the Rings. Like, hopefully,
no, I don't think so.
Hopefully, it's not that. Okay, well, they're going to end up doing something with this IP, and we either can be in charge of it or we cannot be in charge of it.
Right.
Or he's like, no, I really want to do this. It seems like a really good story to do. It's going to enhance the rest of the movies. It's going to be its own good story in its own way.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe like we'll get some new characters. It'll be a time period before everything. I don't know, but
yeah,
I'm not excited that much because I just don't like. I'm like, okay, well, we know like, where he ends up, and I don't know.
The thing that was pitched, like when, like I don't know if you remember, but like when Amazon bought the TV rights, they were like shipped. They like the estate was shopping it around to like streaming services, and like Netflix's pitch was like doing a movie for like each of the main characters. Like you'd have an Aragorn and you'd have a Legolas movie, and like they were horrified by that idea. Now, I don't know what's that different for a Hunt for Gollum movie, where he's more of a main character.
The Hobbit's second dinner.
Oh god.
Oh no, was it second breakfast?
Second and 11sies. And but I like along with
potatoes,
this news,
stew them, mash them, boil them in a stew.
Yeah. But along with this news, we got the announcement that there's more movies coming after this. They're probably not sequels to this movie, but I think they're gonna start putting out more spinoffs because Warner Brothers and David Zaslav is just wanting to like capitalize on this IP that hasn't really been touched since the Hobbit, especially for them. So I don't know. That worries me. I think doing a bunch of spinoffs could really dilute their original franchise like Star Wars kind of has.
I mean, it'll only dilute it if it's not good. If it's good, we'll all be happy.
and they got the right team behind it. So we should be optimistic.
We could be optimistic, but the fact is Peter Jackson directed the Hobbits movies, and I don't like them.
But the faults of that, I'm not going to place totally on him, because he didn't have the time to set up like what he had set up with the original trilogy. Like he had to come in last minute because Del Toro dropped out, and so he wasn't able to create his full vision. But yes, he he did fully direct those, and he probably didn't write them either. So
and he did it in a high frame rate, and it didn't look good.
Why did he have to do the high? It was so jarring. I hated it.
If they would have done without the higher frame rate, I probably like those movies more.
Yeah, did they do it from all three, or?
It definitely started at least in the second one.
Yeah, I noticed it for sure in the second one. Yeah. Yeah, it felt like I was like there in person, which I didn't like. I don't know what it was.
No, high frame rate is not cinematic.
Yeah, it's not at all. At all. So yeah, hopefully he goes back to the, what is it, like 24 frames per second for movies.
Yes.
And let's just stick there. No filmmaker ever should go to 60 frames per second again. So that's where we're at.
Ang Lee, Gemini Man, I'm looking at you.
Oh yeah, he did it too.
That Will Smith movie.
Oh, I know the movie. Yeah, that's rough. That's
the
rough.
whole movie is in 60 frames per
now.
second.
Yeah, that sucks.
No, I think we should watch it one day.
Why would you want to torture me? Why would you want that?
Well, maybe it's like so bad that it's good.
Okay, maybe. I'll watch it with you if you think it is. But our last topic, I should say, is the synopsis was released for the Office spinoff, and it reads.
It's called The Paper.
I didn't even see that. I mean, it could have been. I mean, I would have believed you. But yeah, so the series will follow the Dunder Mifflin documentary crew as they focus on a dying historic Midwestern newspaper and its volunteer reporters. Interesting concept. It's not incredibly far off from the original show's concept of a documentary focusing on a dying business. It's definitely, I don't know how this relates at all to The Office or how it's a spinoff. To me, I'm just like, what is the point of this being in the same universe? Like, is somebody from The Office going to be working at this?
I think that's definitely like one or two characters are going to have like moved over there. And I think like you could see like a Gabe or
Gabe. Why? Sure. Gabe is such a random, but yeah, sure.
You could see like a Gabe. You could see an Andy, perhaps.
That would be so sad to go from a Dunder Mifflin manager to tried actor to volunteer newspaper reporter. That would be the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Or like Kevin. I don't know. But
Kevin's got his own bar.
I forget. Sorry, I forget how a lot of the characters like stories went. Maybe we catch up on Creed, for a second. He's on the run, but we get a story about him.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah. But I don't know. In that sense, it feels more gimmicky and like, oh, this is like, come watch The Office or come watch the show if you're an Office fan, because then you'll see some of your characters.
I agree.
I don't know.
But like Ricky Gervais is going to be like executive producing. The original people who are in charge are going to be in charge of this.
Right. Greg Daniels is show running it.
And so like also Domhnall Gleeson and I'm sorry, I don't know her very well, but Sabrina, I'm going to butcher this, Impacciatore from The White Lotus most recently is going to be in the show. Domhnall Gleeson, who I love, who, is in the Star Wars sequel series. He's in Ex Machina. He's in some Black Mirror episode. He's in lots of good things. Harry
Potter.
Harry Potter. Yeah. So he's going to be a part of this. And I think he could do that awkward but serious, but also like awkward, but like can be at times dramatic and emotional, but also hilarious. Like I think he can pull that off.
Right.
And
I think he'll be the Jim of this show is what I don't know if he'll be like have to be that awkward.
He could be the Jim, but I could also see him being the Michael.
Interesting.
But like there won't be a Michael Scott because there won't like there, but there'll be somebody in charge, and I think
there will be a bad boss, right?
Yeah,
yeah. But like I don't know. To me, the feeling I got when why I say I think he's going to be Jim is because they announced these two together, like as the leads of the show, and yes, Michael Scott was the lead of the show, but like everyone was following for the Jim and Pam storyline.
Right.
And so I think that like she'll be the Pam of this show and they'll have this kind of back and forth romance, you know?
Or what I'm thinking it could also be is like kind of like a Parks and Rec situation where he could be like the Jim, I guess. And you'd have somebody who is the Ron Swanson in charge of things, and and Donald Gleason could be like the Leslie Knope, you know, trying to like do their like reporting and whatnot.
Right.
And I think going from a paper company to focusing on like a dying
newspaper company,
newspaper, and trying to tell trying to tell stories about like local things in this town, or or trying to talk like imagine like trying to do an episode where you're like, hey, we got to talk about cancel culture, and like they want to like, or like what's this like go woke stuff, and they like go and interview people.
But I don't even think it's gonna
how do you feel about Ozempic? And like
I think it's gonna be more about the very local boring events at this Midwestern town,
right?
Like I don't even think it's gonna be like relating to like major like cultural storylines. I think it's gonna be it's gonna mirror how mundane Dunder Mifflin and selling paper was. I don't think there's gonna be that much interesting things going on with the reporting.
Yes, no, I agree with you, because one of the things that was good about The Office was that it was how not all of us, but like how the average person in their work environment would like have conversations with other people about like either mundane things or like big current things would be brought up, but in like a work setting, and like how people would interact or like deal with that. Yeah. And Michael would usually go to the extreme about how to talk about that in a work setting.
Right.
Which I think is kind of what could happen here. But since you're doing it about like a reporters, it could be about really boring stuff in the town that is so boring that it's funny. But there could also be times where it's like, we're gonna do a big piece, guys. Sure. And, I don't know. No,
yeah, but I like, to your point, I think it will like even like more closely mirror like that Dunder Mifflin, like the sales calls is what I'm trying to get at. Like they would go out on sales calls and have like these funny interactions or like funny pairings to sell paper to somebody. I think you'll see that exact same thing where like you'll have two volunteer reporters pair up and they'll go interview somebody for maybe it's a stupid, boring, report and they couldn't give a crap about it. Or maybe it's some big piece and it's like the story of that episode. So I don't know. I don't think it will. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think it will be very similar to The Office in a sense where it's not insanely focused on the work, but more about like the situations they're in while at their job and like the interactions between coworkers. I think that's definitely where they're going for. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe the spinoff thing is a little gimmicky, but could be a fun gimmick, I guess.
Could be called the newspaper.
Yeah, I think it very well could.
The news.
Maybe it's
the Midwest Tribune.
I think it has to be, instead of the news, I think it should be the newspaper, because like the news isn't dying, but like the newspaper is, right? So yeah. But
you would hope they wouldn't call it like The Office Midwest edition.
That would suck. That would really suck. but yeah, no release date. We just have the two people cast and Greg Daniels show running it and Ricky Gervais producing. So
Yeah.
pretty good crew. Yeah. But that's it for our podcast topics this week. Now is the time where we talk about what we watched in the last week. Did you get around to watching anything?
Well, I finished the 3-Body Problem.
Oh,
and,
nice.
That was thoroughly enjoyable, and I'm really excited for season 2. I'm hoping. Nice. I imagine they'll make a second one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I did not expect that show to go where it went, and I don't know how it's gonna go on. Is
season 2 confirmed?
I have no idea, but I think it's likely.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you think you know what's going on, and you just don't, and you can't expect anything. It's crazy. It's really good.
Nice.
I rewatched Star Wars, the first movie, on May the 4th, and I mean, honestly, that movie just fucks, dude. Like that.
Yes, absolutely, bro. It's a good movie.
Yes, I know it's a good movie.
Yeah, man.
I think when I was like a kid, I always thought that one was like the most boring one. But like now as an adult, I'm like, you just see how like so many movies like tried to do, like just took so much inspiration from that movie, and just like the way that like all the scenes just feel like they're real people in this galaxy, as opposed to like how kind of Star Wars has gotten to this point where they're just like these caricatures of character. Like they're these. Well,
wait, are you talking about episode 1 or episode 4?
4.
Oh, you said episode 1 originally.
Yeah,
which is why I was like, yeah, it fucks. It's a good movie.
No.
Yeah. So
that movie's no.
And I was like, well, wait, there are some like real caricatures in episode 1, so I don't think you're talking about episode 1.
No, like the scenes with like Uncle Owen and
no, yeah, episode 4 is great. Yes.
Besides like Luke being like a Long Island mom, like, but I was gonna go into town and get some power converters.
Or that he has like no reaction to his aunt and uncle's death. You know, there's that.
Well, I wouldn't say that he has no reaction. Is it a little like weird? Like
he was stares.
But with the swelling of the music and you could see like how, like I could feel how upset he was. Now, yes, he was like, well, there's nothing left for me here now.
Right. Like immediately it cuts and he's like, hey, I can go. You know, there's nothing here. Yeah.
But like the trash compactor scene.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Terrifying. And one of the best parts of that scene is when C-3PO eventually like is like, oh, I forgot that I turned off my transistor. And it's like 3PO, close off all the garbage, you know, and then he like does it, and then they all start laughing, and he's like, oh no, they're dying in agony. I was too late. And it's so funny in that moment.
By the way, I have to say your Luke Skywalker impression's pretty good. Like it was pretty spot on.
He's just
such a whiny.
Whiny.
Like, I love and that's why I love that trilogy, is because like you see him progress so much between each movie. You know, like he's a different person to me in each one. It's a really good progression. But yeah, no, I agree.
I used to shoot swamp or what was it, swamp rats or whatever. Yeah, I mean he just would like say I just remember me and Hannah were like watching it and we are just like mimicking him so much. Just like, fine, I guess. Like, he's just so like angsty.
Yeah, he's a little kid. Yeah, for sure. But it's a good one for sure. Great.
Yeah. I don't know if I remember if I watched anything else. That might have been it.
Okay. Well, we can circle around to you if you think of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched a different Star Wars movie this past week. I watched Star Wars Episode 8. That is the last one I'll be watching of this series. And I love it just as much as well, maybe not just as much. There's like a couple of flaws I definitely like found this time around. Probably because I was watching with our friend Ryan. But I still love it. I still love that movie. I think it's easily the best of that trilogy. It's got a ton of heart. It's got a great message, great theme throughout. Probably I would say it's easily the most beautifully shot Star Wars movie. And it's just a great time. It's a great time. Yeah, love episode 8. And then what else did I watch? I watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I wanted to start that trilogy before watching the new one, which I'm assuming we'll review maybe next time.
If I can,
possibly.
If I can watch all the movies.
You want to do that too? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rise was a great origin. I mean, it's a really well done origin movie for that world. It's I don't know if you're gonna watch it. I think you might skip it, right?
Probably skip it.
Right. But it's James Franco really acts his ass off in it. Caesar is a great character that you get to watch from like birth to, you know, independence and leading basically a monkey nation at the end. And it gets a little like action movie, like a little too action movie at the end. But I think as an origin, it fucks, you know, like you were saying. But did I watch anything else? I watched Caught Up on Survivor. That's down to the final 6 now. So I'm sure you're pretty far behind.
Yeah.
But
I know we keep saying we're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, anyways, we'll see if we can do like a marathon of it or something.
Okay. Well, I would love to talk to you about it at some point if you do. The last 3 episodes have been like an unremarkable, like not unremarkable, like an unbelievable series of events that I don't believe has happened in like 3 episodes before. And the last person who went home is somebody I've been wanting to go home from like day 1. So that's pretty great. I'm pretty happy about last episode's outcome. But
okay.
Yeah, it's a good Survivor season so far.
Nice.
But yeah, that's all I've watched this week as well. I don't know if you thought of what you were gonna think of. No. Well, that is it then for our podcast episode 58. And if you would like to support us, we have all of our links to our audio versions of the podcast and YouTube links down in the description. And we have our social media links down in the description for you to follow. And if you want to give us a like, a comment, a rating, a review, or a subscribe, we would very much appreciate it.
Yeah, and until next time, don't pee in bottles.
On movie sets.
On movie sets.
Yeah.
When you're 8 hours late.